Karl-Anthony Towns didn't suddenly become a different player after the All-Star break. He became the same player again. Because when you look at what's actually changed, it's not the system, it's not the role, it's not even the shot selection, it's the results. He's making shots. And when Karl-Anthony Towns makes shots, everything about the Knicks changes. Since the All-Star break, Karl-Anthony Towns has looked more like the dominant force that the Knicks traded for. But the question is, what's actually different? To help break this down, I spoke with Knicks Film School's Jonathan Macri. So J-Mac, when you look at Karl-Anthony Towns since the All-Star break, what stands out to you the most about his offensive improvement that we've seen? Is this about role? Is this about rhythm? Or is this simply about shot making?
I think it's probably a combination of all things. What's different about Karl-Anthony Towns? The shots are going in. I think that that's part of it, but I also think it's not a coincidence, for instance, that against the Houston Rockets, for the first time seemingly in a very long time, Karl-Anthony Towns had two traditional post-ups in the first quarter that went well for him. We haven't seen him go to that a lot. I think we saw him go to that early there. I also thought we saw him have a great post-possession late against Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm of the belief that Karl needs to get things going inside the arc in order to exploit his outside game. And then the other thing is we saw him take 9 threes against the Chicago Bulls, which was, again, something that we have not seen him take that high volume of threes in a while. So I don't think it's one thing. I think you got to, establish him on the inside, and that's partially him. That's partially his teammates. That's partially Mike Brown. But also, at the end of the day, does it just come down to playing better and hitting shots? Yeah, I think to some extent it does.
And the numbers back that up, because the biggest difference in Towns' game is efficiency. He's taking many of the same shots, pick and pop threes, trail threes, face-up jumpers, but now they're going in. Before the break, those same looks were coming up short. Now, they're momentum-changing baskets. Cat's true shooting percentage has improved since the break, and while it's a small sample size, let's look at this for perspective. NBA true shooting league average is 58%. Elite scorers in the association have a true shooting percentage anywhere from 62 to 65%. So Cat's 75.8 true shooting percentage over the last 4 games is absurdly efficient.
I think the process hasn't changed to the point where it's a noticeable difference. I think maybe there are some subtle little things that the Knicks are doing, again, going to him when he has something resembling post position, which again, we saw not so much against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but more in the other games that preceded it when he scored 20 or more in 4 straight. But I think for him, it comes down to comfort level. If he is comfortable and he is feeling good about himself, his role in the offense and the whole thing, I think you're going to get the best out of him. It remains to me the most interesting part of the Knicks season that after he left the Denver Nuggets game with that cut over his eye and came back, you would have thought he put on Superman's cape because he looked like the guy that we have seen at his absolute best in a Knick uniform. And why was that? Maybe it was going against the Joker. Maybe it was the opportunity to come out and be the hero after he had gotten hurt. But whatever it is, he had a certain pep to his step. It wasn't anything that they were doing differently in terms of running plays for him or any of that. So when I see him struggling, seemingly inexplicably, I don't think it's as much that anything like Mike Brown isn't calling for him or Jalen Brunson maybe not getting on the ball. I just think he's not feeling at his best, which leads to the obvious question, what do they have to do to make him feel at his best more often?
Because Towns' impact goes beyond his individual numbers. His shooting changes the geometry of the floor. When he's hitting shots, defenses can't collapse. They can't help as aggressively on Jalen Brunson. They can't clog driving lanes, and suddenly the Knicks' entire offense opens up. When Karl-Anthony Towns is playing the way we've seen recently offensively, how much does it change the Knicks' ceiling as a contender in the Eastern Conference with the possibility of getting to the NBA Finals? How much does it change when he's playing this well offensively?
Well, I think it changes everything because if you look at how the Knicks are built, and this was very obvious, against the Cavs where Mikal Bridges was trying to do a lot of heavy lifting, didn't go so well, right? They have a team full of role players. Now, some of those are very highly paid role players, but the likes of OG Anunoby, the likes of Mikal Bridges, go on all the way down the line, Josh Hart, certainly. Those are guys who are still players who are more able to take advantage of the gravity created by those around them rather than players who can create gravity themselves. So when you have a situation where Jalen Brunson is the only one bending the defense, that's just not a sustainable form of success when you factor in the fact that for all Jalen Brunson's gifts, and he has many of them, he is not Steve Nash. They need another guy to create gravity and bend a defense in a way that opens up opportunities for those around him. And Karl-Anthony Towns very clearly is the most obvious candidate to do that. I thought you saw it last year, and specifically in the playoffs. When Karl's going good, it changes everything about the Knicks on the offensive end, to say nothing of the fact that when he's going well offensively, they're a better defensive team because he's buying in more on the defensive end because he feels more involved on offense. So for all those reasons, I think he is the X factor of the season. And if the Knicks do somehow make good on their preseason potential and make the NBA Finals, I would be shocked if we did not see a massive postseason performance from Towns.
Because this version of Karl-Anthony Towns is the version the Knicks traded for. Not just a scorer, but a matchup problem, a floor spacer, and a true offensive anchor. And sometimes the explanation isn't that deep. It's simple. He's making shots. The bottom line here is Cat can't shoot 5 times in a game like he did against Cleveland. And what he's not going to do is he's not going to continue to have a true shooting percentage over 75%. However, if he shoots closer to his career true shooting percentage numbers, which are around 62%, then the Knicks offense looks completely different. And their championship hopes, they become very real.